But it was like a 12 p.m. for that too. It was pretty early, so good for her.
Yeah, so there was a lot of there was a lot of good stuff that was going on, and then some of the shows that we went to. The show we went to on Friday afternoon, which I believe was help me out here, but it's a PW Rev Pro. Thank you. And then Wrestling Revolver was Saturday, which was Pancakes and Pile Drivers. Those shows were in a ballroom inside the hotel, so I mean, it very, very easy to kind of come and go as we please, to go to see, get some signings, get some autographs, some pictures, and then go and see, the shows that we had tickets to in the hotel, before we ended up heading out Saturday night for the MSG show.
It was such a clutch, plan for, I think I don't want to jinx now that it's over and done with. I don't think we could have actually booked it any better. There were no lines for everything. Everybody, we met a ton of people. If you haven't seen, who we corresponded with, head over to any of our social media at All Night Long WP everywhere. I post most of them up on Instagram. Everybody was so cool, dude. There wasn't one person we met where I was like, oh, that person's such a Richard. For the most part, every single person that we met was really, really happy to talk to people. We got some business contacts, possible future. Actually, we locked down a couple of future guests of the All Night Long Wrestling podcast. Gary Michael Capetta sticks out to me as one of the coolest guys in the world. Tony Schiavone was hilarious. Schiavone burying Eric Bischoff right next to Eric Bischoff is an all-time power move. I got to tell you. What do you say about the Wyoming sun not being kind to his leathery face? I was dead.
Yeah, he basically said Eric Bischoff was ugly. So it was something along those lines. But yeah, most of the wrestlers, if not all the ones that we met, were very nice, very friendly. I know you met Joey Ryan. He took sent a video message to your wife, and Gary Michael Capetta and Ashley Massaro recorded drops for us, which you heard the Capetta one. The Ashley Massaro one will be on the show at some point in the future. And like you said, we met a few folks that were nice enough to agree to do future interviews with us. So hopefully we'll have those folks on soon. But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of waiting in long lines. We got to meet. We had a Horseman photo shoot.
So good
with those guys. We met Minoru Suzuki, which was frightening, but also went pretty well, all things considered. So the whole thing, as far as WrestleCon was concerned, and being in the hotel for those 2 days and going to those shows, I thought was pretty well done.
The biggest part, one of the biggest things to come out of WrestleCon was Arn Anderson told me I was over with him. Like, he verbatim, he said, "You're over with me, brother." Part of me died inside when that happened, because I realized a lot more of my life has thus now become meaningless since I've hit the peak, right? Like, how do the enforcer bestows upon you his passing of the torch, if you will. Like, what more do I have to do in my life to be successful? To me, that's kind of it, right?
No, that's it. We should have just went home at that point. I think that would have been we could have done that and it would have been fine. You got to meet Arn Anderson, had a nice conversation with him. I got to meet Tully Blanchard. I think I made some jokes in the elevator that he laughed at, which
we popped him on those. Yeah. Oh, and Frank Mir, I forgot about that.
Frank Mir was super nice. Everyone was really nice. I really have to say they spent time, talking to you. I mean, I haven't been to a WWE autograph session in a long time, but the last time that I did years ago, they kind of rush people through. I feel like you don't really get an opportunity to do more than maybe take a picture and shake a wrestler's hand. But, it shows like this, as long as there's not a huge line of people waiting, you get an opportunity to have kind of a semi-casual conversation with some of these folks who are celebrities. And a lot of them are really, really nice. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get when you meet people of that stature, but most of the people, if not every single person we met, was extremely nice to us.
Yeah, I mean, I had a shoot 10 to 15 minute conversation with Frank Mir about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and professional wrestling. And for people that know me, like, they know, like, they're shy of him and I talking about, like, rescue dogs. Like, we hit 2 out of the 3 most important things in my life. So it was it was such a good experience. Really hats off to WrestleCon for running such a great show. I don't know if and when they're going to be coming back to New York, but if they do, I mean, I'll buy tickets right now. I would absolutely go back again. It's not like one of those things where you do it like, oh, it's just for the experience and I don't want to sit through that stuff again. Like, that was seamless and flawless, and I would absolutely go back. Like you said too, the cool thing was that there were shows running almost the entire time. So if you had tickets 2-day passes to WrestleCon, you can go to the shows. We actually bought tickets separately. We got tickets to the Rev Pro show, dude. Friday night, you and I are sitting 4th row, 5th row for Rev Pro, and Tanahashi is teaming with Will Ospreay against Zack Sabre Jr. and Suzuki. It's like, where am I where this is happening? And then we're going to be seeing the next night in Madison Square Garden. I thought the Rev Pro show was a really, really, really good show, and a really good showing for one of your new favorite tag teams, bro, Aussie Open.
Yeah, there was a lot of great acts there from different companies and from different parts of the world. So it really is an opportunity, for fans of independent wrestling to see teams. I'd never seen Aussie Open wrestle in person before. I'd heard about them. I know you'd watched them a bunch, I think, in Progress, right? So, they were really good. There was a match with Ishii versus David Starr, I think, on that show. So there was a lot of really good, like you mentioned, some of the stars of New Japan that were there. It was just a really good show, and the arena was set up nicely. There was a lot of space, there's a lot of people that were there. And there was, like you said, there were shows going all day and night, so they would kind of have breaks in between. Friday night was the Joey Ryan Penis Party. No,
it was the Penis Party.
The Penis Party.
Male, yeah.
Yep, that's the one. And we saw our friend Green Ant before that show at some point in the hotel, who was also a great guy, big fan of Green Ant. He was on that show.
Good. Love that guy. Yep.
So that worked out real well. We watched NXT on Friday night, a little bit later into the morning, I guess, as we were a little bit behind doing things in the hotel. That seemed like a great show. That was in Brooklyn. We don't, like you said, we don't have to recap all the matches, but that was a great show. Gargano won the world title. And then Saturday, we saw it was the Pancakes and Pile Drivers, although conspicuous by their absence, the aforementioned pancakes were not allowed to be given out to the fans, unfortunately.
Yeah, I blame who's that Cortez chick who is like the Democratic chick from New York?
Hillary Clinton?
No, yeah, that's her. Okay. I blame them. However, Pancake, look, to be able to watch a pro wrestling show at 11 a.m., dude, I mean, it was such a cool weekend. You know who my new favorite tag team is, right?
Is it the Besties? Is that what Besties in the World? Is that what it is?
Besties in the World, bro. Go to our Instagram and find their entrance video. They came out, they said they're hailing from the Savage Garden, and their theme song was, I think its song is called Truly Madly Deeply, and they performed it. It was, Joe, it touched me in ways that my soul had not ever been touched before. But the Pancakes and Pile Driver show was a really good show. It was, you know what it was? It was more fun than anything. It was a fun show. Rev Pro it took itself a little more seriously, and it was more serious wrestling. Pancakes and Pile Drivers was a fun show. I mean, I think the biggest takeaway from that show is that Tessa Blanchard is a heck of a wrestler, huh?
She is, yeah. The two takeaways that I had from that show, I mean, obviously, yes, Tessa Blanchard wrestled an intergender match, and it may have been the best match on the show. She did really great. The two things that I took away were, for those who are familiar with Shane Strickland, it was his last match on the independent scene. So he's going to be going to WWE very soon. So it was his last match, the main event in a tag match that he got the win, and then he gave a farewell speech afterwards. And the second thing that I took away from it was the sickening, ungodly amount of times that you were mistaken for M-Dog Matt Cross during the course of the weekend. People asking you for 8x10s or taking photos and autographs with them. I'm glad that you got to meet Matt Cross and that we have a picture of evidence so that people can see that you're two different people. But yeah, those are the two takeaways I had as far as Pro Wrestling Revolver is concerned.
Yeah, I got that a lot this weekend. And then when I saw M-Dog, I explained to him the situation. He said, he looked at me, he really put me over. He goes, usually when people say they look like me, I'm offended because of what they look like. He's like, but at least you're like a big jacked up dude. You're in shape. He's like, it's the first time I'm not offended. I was like, holy potatoes. That was a very nice gesture, Matt Cross, but he was a super cool dude, but it was funny. Right after that happened, you and I get in the elevator, and that guy patted me on the back, and he told me, good match. I was like, yeah, man, it would have been a good match if I wrestled tonight. However, just a guy, man. I'm just frankly, what it is, it's a racial stereotype that I'm trying to break. Not all Irishmen look alike.
Well, I mean, I hope you keep trying with that one, buddy. I mean, fight the good fight, I think.
I am.
But
Speaking of fighting the good fight, let's take that fight right over to Saturday night, Madison Square Garden, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling. And let me tell you something. Oh, I can't curse on this show, right?
correct. Yeah, no foul
Dude,
words.
let me tell you something. That show got pooped on by a lot of places, and I feel like Ring of Honor also got pooped on. And I don't think it's warranted. Say what you want to say. They sold out the place. Fans were live the entire show. There was no dull spots. There were no matches where I wanted my money back. Every match was above average to match of the year in Ibushi versus Naito. And they were like, oh, the Ring of Honor portion of the show really dragged it down. Oh, yeah? Tell me how much the Jeff Cobb versus Ospreay match sucked. P.S. Jeff Cobb is the Ring of Honor TV champion. Tell me how much you hated Zack Sabre from Ring of Honor now, because he's now a Ring of Honor guy, right? Against Tanahashi. Or Jay Lee. I mean, listen, I don't like Taven winning the title either. I'm not a Taven guy. That's fine. But you can't say Taven hasn't earned the title. The guy's been in Ring of Honor since as long as I can remember. He was part of the Kingdom. He was a TV champion for a while. Just because you don't like who won the title, it's not like it's not like a situation with Brock Lesnar where you're going to give it to a part-time guy who's going to be there every 3 or 4 days. You gave it to Matt Taven, who just because you don't like him, spoiler, he's a heel. You're not supposed to like him. He's doing a hell of a job as a heel. Yes, Marty Scurll didn't win the title. Everybody wanted Marty Scurll to win the title. So did I. Or Jay Lethal to keep it. But Marty Scurll might be going to AEW in about 3 hours. So you can't give it to him. It's business, you know? And it wasn't like – it's not even like those New Japan Ring of Honor days like 4 or 5 years ago when the New Japan guys were booked so strongly over the Ring of Honor guys. Jeff Cobb beat Will Ospreay clean. You know, I mean, that's a huge win for Ring of Honor. Yes, the GOD beat the Briscoes and PCO and Brody King. I'm okay with that. I can't even remember how many other matches were on the card. Joe, help me out here. Naito, Ibushi.
Yeah, I think there was 10 on the main card. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I read the same things that you did as far as people were down on the ROH, portions of the show. I mean, I guess there's two things. Like, and maybe it was different because we were in the building. I don't know how much that impacts like the opinion of the show, but I mean, a couple of things. One is that the ladder match I thought was good. I mean, can it compare to Ibushi and Naito or Okada against Jay White? No, but it was still good. And I think Taven winning the title, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think it was the right call. They've been building to that, and I don't know who else would have won it if he didn't. There was some stuff on the show that wasn't great. I mean, the Bully Ray segment was long. The Kelly Klein match was good, but it wasn't great. But there were things on the show that were good, and there was a lot of stuff. There were surprises. There were things that happened that were newsworthy. I mean, the whole, even though it didn't air, I think on pay-per-view, the whole Enzo and Cass thing was kind of a moment where, we were sitting in our section, and I don't know if I assume it was like this in the whole arena, but people were talking all about it, right? Trying to find videos of it, find out what was going on, and I think when you do stuff like that, you get people talking about it, and people might not like Enzo and Cass. They may not think that they work in ROH if they're going to sign there, but it was a newsworthy thing that happened, and maybe they'll come in and do some different work there, and it'll be better than they were in WWE. I don't know, but I guess the bottom line is I didn't think it was a bad show at all. I thought most of the matches were good. Yes, the New Japan stuff kind of blew away the ROH stuff, but that's what it is. I mean, that's just the state of how the companies are right now in terms of the wrestlers that they have. So I didn't have any issues with it. I thought it was a great show. We were there for, from start to finish. It was long, but every wrestling show that's on major pay-per-view now apparently is super long. And, I enjoyed the show. I thought we got our money's worth out of it. And I really can't complain. I tried to go back and rewatch it the next day. I didn't make it all the way through just because I fell asleep again. But I thought it was really good. And I think it was a very important show for both companies.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, I'm looking at the card right now. I'm looking at the results. The Honor Rumble, Kenny King won. And everybody's just bitching about Kenny King. Oh, he's old. He stole the moment. Like, at what point are you mad at the booking, or are you mad at that your guy's not winning? Kenny King winning a 30-man honor Rumble, like, to me, okay.